Hey, Bobcat Bucket here with another Frontline Disc Golf Form review. Today we're going to be doing a backhand review. We got Ramie on the right here, we got Dan Brookswalls on the left. I'll go ahead and play the form through once, and then I'll back it up and start my review. Okay, so I will start by saying that you have already pretty good form. At first glance, I was like, what? I can't really tell like what's wrong. And I do my frame by frame thing. I picked a few things out. So first thing I always tell people is if you're moving forward, this hand, the left hand, should be off the disc. You'll see all of the pros touch the disc with the left hand, but as soon as they start moving forward, that left hand goes down. And the reason being is because the longer you keep it on there, the more likely you are. You actually don't do it, surprisingly. I was very surprised, but as soon as you reach back, the disc tends to follow that left hand if you're touching the disc, which leads to rounding. You're actually able to avoid it, which is great, but better get into the habit of just dropping that left hand down, as you can see Dan does here, as soon as he starts moving forward. You look away early, you're already looking away from your target. You'll notice that Dan doesn't look away until he can no longer look at his target. So as soon as his front shoulder pushes his head out of the way, that's when he looks away. You should be looking at your target until your shoulder no longer allows you to. The second step of your X step is too large. You're landing on your toe. What that does is it turns your hips. If you stand in your X step as you are with your toe on the ground like that and then try to engage your hips, you'll notice that you have limited mobility and it's much more difficult to rotate those hips. If you have a much smaller X step with your foot almost parallel with your plant foot, you'll notice you have a lot more freedom and a lot more mobility in those hips. Your reach back is like a half a second too early, not even a half a second. So you should peak. I'll start by saying your reach back should start as your plant foot starts to move forward. Your reach back should begin, which it does. You have good timing there. However, notice like your reach back is peaked right about there. Your foot hasn't touched the ground yet. You want your reach back to peak as your front foot touches the ground. As you can see, Dan's peaked. Foot's touching the ground. Also, a note that I forgot to put, I'll add it right now. You want to land on the ball of your foot here at a closed stance. You don't want that foot to be, you don't want that toe to be opened up. You want to be stepping at a closed stance, and then as you throw, you open that toe up. You are pivoting, but you're not getting as much pivot because you're stepping with an open foot. Open up your shoulders. Oh, you open up your shoulders early. You need to drive through with that elbow. I call it breaking the glass. Let me get to the point. So this is a ridiculous example. I've never seen anybody get like this crazy with it. So I tell people to imagine it to the pane of glass right here, and you're trying to break it with your elbow. Dan, just I can't understand how he does it. It's almost awkward looking. He throws his elbow so far past his body. You open up your shoulders a little bit here, which doesn't allow you to get completely into that power pocket. You want to, part of the reason that this happens is because your elbow catches up with your hips. You want your hips to be in front of your elbow the whole way. A good way to do it is you over-exaggerate this back knee, which begins your hip movement, and it begins your hip movement before your elbow comes through. I'll show you an example I found on Facebook with Paige Pierce. This is an example I found with Paige Pierce. You'll see how she over-exaggerates his back knee. See how her knee is super broken. Because it's on Facebook, it's going to be really blurry. And I can't go frame by frame. But I think you get what I'm saying. You really want to over-exaggerate that back knee. And the last thing I really saw was that you look up early. So not only do you look away early, you also look up early. So you'll notice Dan doesn't turn his head until the disc is out of his hand. You're already looking at your target. The disc is still in your hand. And one of Will Schuster's old clinics used to say, you look up early to watch your disc go out of bounds. So you want to make sure that you're trusting your aim, you're trusting your walk up, and you're trusting that you're putting your body in the correct position to throw where you want to throw, and then trust it, look down. It's one of the hardest things to do, not look up early. Just keep your head down as best as you can and really drive through the disc. Other than that, I think you have really good form as it is. Sometimes these forms with the forms I get that are better take me a while longer because I really have to examine it and figure out what the person is doing wrong. So that's all I got for you. Hopefully you enjoy it, hopefully you learn from it, and we'll see you out there.